As the LYON system was developed, compass files were created to simplify the workflow and improve navigation of the controls. There are two types of files. The preset starting point files are global projects that have the setup work completed. The output EQ files can be loaded into any output processing channel. Here's how these two types of files can be used. Once the Compass software is opened, click these buttons to show the control groups and pages tabs, if they've not already been selected here. We'll start with one of the preset global project files and then modify it using individual EQ files. The preset starting point files are global projects and are opened here. We'll use the LYON Medium package for this example. Using the virtual Galileo function, we can use the Compass software offline without being connected to real Galileos. By clicking the Load Project and Load Settings buttons, all of the snapshots and control groups will be loaded into the virtual machines. Make sure the Load Control Groups and Pages selection is made. The same steps apply when connected to real Galileo Callisto processors. It's a good practice to save this global project with a new name to prevent overwriting the preset file. We'll update this global project after we've made changes. Now we can select one of the snapshots. The other snapshot in this project uses a third input that is routed to the 1100s. This preset starting point offers a framework to begin with when using 12 LYONs per side and 1100 LFC low-frequency control elements with Galileo Callisto processors at each side of the stage and a master Callisto at front of house. Here's the signal routing for the system. The front of house master Callisto has the left and right outputs of the console routed through the matrix to the outputs for the left and right array processors. There are provisions already for outfills, front fills, and a center cluster, which are intended for you to modify and add to depending on the needs of the day. The front of house master Callisto is sending AES signal to the inputs of these array processors, one located at each side of the stage. The outputs of these processors are connected to the zones of each array. The arrays are broken into 4 zones, 4 LYONs in the top 2 zones, 3 in the next, and 1 in the bottom zone. The 1100s are patched to the last outputs and have processing applied to create a gradient array. Another output is reserved for alternate subwoofer configurations. The unused outputs are available for additional system components, particular to a specific production, without changing this part of the patch to the drive snake. Before any adjustments are made, make sure the array processors are linked in mirror mode, which is indicated by the purple bars at the top of the tabs and the purple background color. They have both been selected here, and the global linking mode has been selected here. In this absolute mode, any change to either one of the processors is duplicated on the other. The basic calibration for the system can be done from the Controls tab. To display the functions, click here. The control page has 3 modes. Layout mode is used to modify the visual layout. Configure mode is used to change control point assignments, and Operate mode is used to change the values of the control points. The controls are arranged low frequency to high frequency for the LYON arrays, and then the 1100 and delay controls. Each of these controls is defined by a group. By clicking on the blue bar, the Groups tab is opened, and we can see that this group is made up of all of the main array outputs for the left and right Callisto array processors. In Configure mode, this control has been mapped to the low gain of the U-shaping filter of the output channels in the main array group. The low control adjusts the gain of the U-shaping low filter on all of the LYON array outputs. We can see the changes in the EQ plots which represent the signal zones of the arrays. This fader controls the low-mid gain of the U-shaping EQ filters of the outputs connected to the arrays. The next controls are assigned by zone for gain adjustment of the upper midband of the U-shaping filters. This control is changing only the second zone of both the left and right arrays. Its group is made up of only two outputs, one for the left array and one for the right. The VHF controls are assigned to make adjustments by zone as well. These values can be changed by moving the fader, by typing in values, or clicking on the value and using the arrow keys. The knee of each filter is slightly different. The knee is changed depending on the vertical coverage angle of a group of 4 LYONs, narrow, medium, or wide. With these starting point files, the narrow vertical audience coverage area is a zone of 4 speakers covering 1.5 to 5 degrees. The medium zone is 5 to 15 degrees of vertical audience area, and a wide zone is 15 to 27 degrees of vertical coverage. These vertical coverage angles correspond to the output EQ files. To load a different EQ file, click on the EQ plot, right-click in the processor window, click Load Output Equalization, and recall the narrow processor settings. Both of the Channel 2 outputs now have the narrow settings recalled. Using these preset EQ files means the processing can be customized based on the shape of the array. Once the frequency response of the LYONs is adjusted to your liking, the level for the 1100s can be adjusted. These controls adjust the delay for all of the 1100s and all of the LYONs, whether the adjustment is based on their relative physical distance or more accurately with a transfer function phase measurement. The processing for the 1100s can be changed by clicking on the response curve window, which is a shortcut to the Output Processing tab. When working in the Output Processing tab, to make the same adjustments to several output channels, link the outputs together by using the Select buttons in the lower right corner, or the Select buttons from the Galileo Map tab. Now that we've made adjustments to the global project, we should update the snapshot. Delete the unused snapshot. And save the global project. There are 3, 4, and 5 zone starting point global projects and wide, medium, and narrow EQ files for the LYON system available for download at meyersound.com. Please refer to other tutorials for specific information about optimizing and voicing LYON systems.